and welcome to episode 51 of the Knitty Heather podcast. My name is Heather and I'm coming to you from Cheyenne, Wyoming, where I'm spending most of the summer with my husband Tom and our Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Pepper. This is my podcast where I chat about everything that I am working on, all of my knitting that I have on the needles. I also love to feature amazing makers, designers, yarn dyers, and other accessory makers that add to the beauty of our fiber community. If you are a new viewer, welcome. I'm so happy that you found me and I hope you enjoy yourself. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. If you would like to follow me, I am at Knitty Heather on Instagram and I would love to connect with you there. All of the yarn and patterns and accessories I talk about will be listed and linked in the description box below. Today is Friday, July 29th, 2022, and I have a lot to tell you about, so let's get started. Today I am wearing my Borealis cowl by Stella Ackroyd. This was a beautiful lacy cowl that I did last year. The yarn I used was MJ Yarn's Sophistisock, 75% merino, 15% nylon, and 10% tencel in the colorway Northern Lights. I purchased this beautiful skein of yarn at Cowgirl Yarns in Laramie, Wyoming last time I was here. It starts with the seed stitch cuff and then a beautiful lacy pattern that you repeat a few times and then do another seed stitch cuff on the bottom. It is very drapey, very beautiful, and I absolutely love this colorway. Check out the Borealis cowl by Stella Ackroyd as well as MJ Yarns. Today I am also wearing my Rome socks by Mina Phillip, the Knitting Expat. This was the third pattern she released as part of her Around the World in 8 Socks collection in 2021. It features these beautiful wrapped smock stitches that create the look of Roman columns. The yarn I used was from Lolo Did It's Downton Abbey Club in the colorway Seduced and Indecent Proposal. They were knit cuff down with 20 rounds of a 2x2 rib, a garter German short row heel, and a rounded toe. Now on to my acquisitions. This first one is probably one of my very favorite acquisitions I've ever received. This was a birthday gift from my Aunt Marcia. My birthday was a little over a week ago and my aunt was able to come and visit and she gifted me this gorgeous Knitty Heather cross stitch. She found this beautiful knit stitch heart design and then added Knitty Heather with an alphabet chart. How gorgeous. Such detail. There's about 6 or 7 different pink and red colors in that to give it such dimension. I love it so much and it will live very happily in my craft room. Thank you so much, Aunt Marcia. I just love it. She is such a talented crafter herself. She loves doing quilting and cross stitch. Next, I'd like to tell you about a little bit of yarn I've acquired since I've been here in Wyoming this summer. I took a trip down to Fort Collins, Colorado, which is home to the Loopy U, a wonderful yarn store. And I picked up a couple skeins of yarn. They had this exclusive colorway from Dream in Color called Summer Flower. And it came with this really cute flower stitch marker. Very bright pinks, deep reds, on kind of a light purpley pink wash. Such a gorgeous color. I got this on their City 100% Superwash Aran weight yarn base. You can see it says exclusively dyed for the Loopy U. So fun. They had just received their shipment of this yarn when I was there, and so I was happy to pick it up. I think I'll probably make a hat or maybe some worsted or Aran weight gloves. We'll have to see. What would you recommend with a beautiful skein like this? Let me know your pattern ideas in the comments below. I also picked up a skein of Malabrigo sock yarn. This is just their number 63 natural. And I thought this would be a good skein to have on hand to add as heels, toes, and cuffs if I need to. This is 100% superwash merino. And I don't know that I've actually ever used Malabrigo sock before. I've used other bases from Malabrigo before, but I don't think I've ever actually used their socks. So I was happy to pick up a very usable skein that will go nicely in my stash and hopefully be a part of a number of different projects in the future. If you are ever in the Fort Collins, Colorado area, definitely check out the Loopy U. I also took a trip over to Laramie, Wyoming, which is about 45 minutes to an hour west of us, to Cowgirl Yarn, and there I purchased these two beautiful skeins of Western Sky knits. Here's the first one. This is their Aspen Sock 75-25 base. This colorway is called Birch Bark. And I was thinking this would make a really good sock head or musselburgh hat. Just kind of a nice neutral color with some beautiful brown speckles. And then kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, I also picked up this really funky color called Sunrise. And I'm not quite sure how this will knit up, but look at this rich, deep purple color and this kind of chartreuse. So many fun colors in this beautiful skein, and I'm really excited to see how this will knit up. This will probably be a fun pair of socks for somebody someday. I'd never heard of this Western Sky knits, but they are out of Montana, apparently. And they had quite a few beautiful colorways of this yarn. Definitely check out Cowgirl Yarn as well. It is a wonderful local yarn store. Now on to my finished objects. My first finished object to show you is my July pair of socks for the 8th annual Desert Vista Dye Works Monthly Sock Club. Here they are. I did the Zigzagular Socks by Susie White, Prairie Girl Knits. Here's a little bit of a closer look at what the little zigzag stripe looks like. And then same thing on this sock, but on the other side. The colorway I used was called Cancer the Crab, and then I also had a blue mini from one of her 2019 collection that I used for the toe and heel. I did my typical wedge-shaped toe, knit up the foot, continued up the leg. I did 17 rounds of 2x2 rib to end on this nice dark blue stripe, and then I went back and knit my afterthought heel. I'm very happy with how these stripes lined up. And I was able to split this blue stripe for the heel, which looks nice. So another pair of Desert Vista Dye Works socks off the needles. I love how they turned out. This is a beautiful 4-stripe colorway, and I'm very pleased with how these turned out. I love this pattern with self-striping. This was the first time I had done this pattern with self-striping yarn, and I absolutely love it. Definitely recommend the Zigzagular pattern. It is so much fun. I highly recommend the Zigzagular pattern for any socks, but I am happy with how it looks in a self-striping. It's a super fun, addicting pattern. I did use a cable needle, but I'm sure you could do it without. It was just easier for me to use a cable needle rather than trying to remember which way to do different twisted stitches. The cable needle was not too cumbersome for me, so I did go ahead and use it. One more quick look. This is the Zigzagular Sock Pattern by Susie White, Prairie Girl Knits, knit up in Desert Vista Dye Works, Cancer the Crab. My next finished object is actually a half finished object. This was my Sock Week sock for Sock Week, hosted by Natalie of Knitty Natty and the Love and Stitches podcast. I did a shorty vanilla sock. The yarn I used was Sweet Mountain yarn in the Time for Tea sock set on their 80/20 Scree sock base. Came with this beautiful variegated mane color. I did 15 rounds of a 2x2 rib, 15 rounds of a leg, and then I did the Shadow Wrap heel from the Socksploration pattern by Denise DeSantis, also known as Earth Tones Girl, in this beautiful plummy mini. Worked 50 rounds down the foot, and then I did a rounded toe. So kind of my own little shorty recipe that I love. I need to cast on the second sock, but I will do that very shortly. I just love how this yarn turned out. So beautiful. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know your shorty sock recipe. Some people like a longer cuff, some people like a longer leg. What do you do for your perfect shorty sock recipe? This is a vanilla shorty sock knit up in Sweet Mountain yarn in the Time for Tea sock set colorway. My last finished object is also a half finished object. This is my latest DK pair of socks I've been working on. I have the first one done. This is from my July 2022 Yarnable box. I recently switched to her plush DK base. This colorway is called Picnic Basket. And it is just a really beautiful tonal red, kind of a pinky red. The pattern I followed was the DK Weight Sock pattern by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady. It was a free pattern that she came out with last summer for summer sock camp, and it is a classic top down with a slip stitch heel flap construction with the rounded toe. Really love it, super simple. I knit this on magic loop, but you can knit it on whatever style you like to knit your socks. And it's gonna be another very cozy pair of DK socks to sleep in. This is the DK Weight Vanilla Sock pattern by Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, knit up in Picnic Basket by Hypnotic Yarn from her July 2022 Yarnable box. Now on to my works in progress. My first work in progress I'd like to tell you about is the latest pair of socks by the Cozy Knitter that I have been working on. This is in the colorway Regency, and I am doing the String of Lights pattern, which is just a very simple ribbed pattern. I'm doing it across the front of the sock and leaving the back plain. I cast these on, this is actually the second sock. I am almost done with this pair. I'm using my ChiaoGoo 9-inch circular. My breakfast bagel progress keeper is from Suker Miniatures. I started with the toe on magic loop, and then I switched to the 9-inch to do the foot. I did a fish lips kiss heel also on the 9-inch circular, and now I am working up the leg. I really love these beautiful colors in this Regency colorway. This was from her August 2021 Yarn of the Month Club, and I have it in my B project bag from MLD Threads on Etsy, and I also have a B progress keeper for the zipper pull. This is from Bump on a Hill on Etsy. So like I said, I just have a few more rounds to do up the leg, and then I will do the cuff in this cream mini that came with this sock set. And I will have another pair of Cozy Knitter socks off the needles. This is the String of Lights pattern by Sock Witchery, knit up in Regency by the Cozy Knitter. Next up is the latest pair of socks from Yarnable that I have been working on. This was from her August 2021 Yarnable box. The colorway is called Sweet and Sour, and I am doing the Kaye Cables pattern by Sierra of All Knit Up Designs. My little strawberry popsicle progress keeper is from Sweet Cherry on Etsy. And as you can see, this has a really pretty, just simple cable design. I am only doing it across the front of the sock. I chose not to do it on the back of the leg. But it is a beautiful, nice, stretchy, because there are a bunch of knits and purls, it is going to fit very nicely. I am using my Knit Picks Radiant DPNs for this pair. I did a slip stitch heel flap and gusset. And now I have about 20 more rounds down the foot to work before I do my rounded toe. This is the second sock in this pair, so I should be able to finish this pair by the end of the month as well. I really love these bright oranges with a little bit of yellow and red speckled in there. Such a pretty summery colorway, and I think it works really nicely with this pattern. I have it in my Grease project bag by Fate's Thread. I absolutely love this one. And it has been a total pleasure to knit. I started with 20 rounds of a 2x2 rib for the cuff, and have just continued working and enjoying this pattern all the way down the front of the sock. This is the Kaye Cables pattern by Sierra of All Knit Up Designs, knit up in Sweet and Sour by Hypnotic Yarn from her August 2021 Yarnable box. My last sock whip I have to tell you about is a new cast on. It is a share a pair sock that I cast on with my friend Helen Jo from the Love and Stitches membership. So I sent her 50 grams of this beautiful skein. This is Yarn Cafe Creations on her Biscotti 8515 base in the colorway Divas. Very pretty, variegated with some purples and greens. And then Helen Jo was sweet enough to send me this green Cascade Heritage. It is the number 5753. Their Heritage sock, 7525. And I am striping these two colors together. This cute little ladybug cupcake progress keeper is from Simply Serving on Etsy. So I did 16 rounds of a 2x2 rib for the cuff in the Divas color, and then I am just striping every 2 rounds of the 2 colors. I will do the slip stitch heel flap in the Divas color as well. This is just a vanilla sock, plain stockinette. I will continue striping all the way down the foot, and then Helen Jo was so sweet, she actually included another little pretty pink mini. This is Utopia Wisco sock, their 80/20 base in the colorway Apple Blossom Pink. And so I thought it would be super cute to put this as the toe for these socks. My second sock, I will do the opposite. Like I did on my other share a pair, I will cast on the cuff in the green and then start striping in the more variegated color, just to make them kind of fraternal twins. I think that would be really fun. I'm really loving how these colors are coming together. We kind of exchanged pictures of yarn that we had in our stash and came up with this color combo. I have it in my watermelon bag from Fate's Thread. I love to use this one in the summer. And I really recommend sharing some yarn with a buddy. Split a hank of sock yarn into 50 grams, send one to a friend, and they can send another one to you as well. It's really great way to use up some more sock yarn because you really hardly ever use a full 100 grams when you are knitting a pair of socks. This is a vanilla sock using the share a pair striping method from Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady, knit up in Yarn Cafe Creations Biscotti sock and Cascade Heritage. I will also add Utopia Wisco sock for the toe. Last but not least, I have a really long-standing whip I'd like to tell you about that I just recently picked back up. I don't think I'd really worked on this since last fall. But here is my Flax Sweater by Tin Can Knits. I just split for the sleeves. You can see the sleeves have a really pretty garter ridge detail down the center of it. This Starbucks Progress Keeper is from Bump on a Hill, and it's just marking the front of the sweater. And I have a Pumpkin Spice Latte Progress Keeper that is showing where I have knit. I actually knit this much last night while on Zoom with some friends. I still have my Pumpkin Spice Latte on here because, like I said, I'm pretty sure I haven't really worked on this since last fall, but that's okay. The yarn I am using is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the colorway Noble Heather. This is 100% non-superwash merino, so I will need to hand wash this. I really am loving how it's turning out. I'm really happy I picked it back up and got past the raglan increases. If I didn't already say, this is the Flax Sweater by Tin Can Knits, and I am doing the worsted version. There is a flax light that you can knit with fingering, but I am doing worsted this time. I really love this Noble Heather color. I have also a Progress Keeper that is showing the beginning of the round. This is also from Bump on a Hill. And I just put the sleeves on scrap fingering weight yarn to hold them until I pick them back up. I will finish knitting the whole body, do some 1x1 rib, I think is what it calls for, on the bottom, and then pick back up the sleeves. I think I will do maybe about a 3/4 length sleeve. I don't usually like full sleeves. About 3/4 will probably be great for me. This is only the second sweater that I have ever knit, and I am enjoying it. I really should knit more sweaters, and I'm finding this to be a really great beginner sweater pattern. It's very popular. A lot of people have knit these. You do just a few rounds of a neckline before you start your raglan increases. I absolutely am enjoying this style of sweater. I think this is probably the best style, the top-down raglan, for a beginner. And like now I will be able to try it on to make sure that things are fitting okay. I think I'm going to try to get some of those barber cords. Let me know in the comments below, have you tried any of those barber cords to help try on a sweater? Because I do think I might want to try those. I think that will make trying on your sweater a lot easier than having to string a bunch of waste yarn through and then having to put them back on your needles. Let me know if you have any experience with barber cords and how those have worked out for you. I'd love some advice. So, like I said, I just need to keep working down the body. This is a very simple sweater. It's mostly stockinette except for the little garter detail down the sleeves. So I'm hoping to be able to finish this sometime this fall to be able to wear when the weather gets colder. And if it turns out that I like it, I will definitely knit another one of these. Let me know too in the comments below, have you knit a flax? I know lots of people have, and I'd love to hear what yarn you used and what kind of modifications you might have made. Let me know your flax knitting experience as well. This is the Flax Sweater by Tin Can Knits, knit up in Wool of the Andes on their worsted base in the colorway Noble Heather. Well, I think that's about all I have for you this episode. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. I really hope you enjoyed yourself. Please don't forget to give this video a like and consider subscribing. I am so thankful for all of you who support my little channel. And as always, please let me know if you have any feedback or comments. Let me know what you are thinking about the podcast. You are more than welcome to leave a comment down below or message me on Instagram. I am at Knitty Heather on Instagram, and I would love to hear from you. But until next time, be well, be kind, and happy knitting. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.